And let me reiterate that, because when I say that feelings constitute natural reports to the mind on the state of life within the organism, when you have somebody that reports pain that is not of an apparent physical origin, and you have the pain that comes from loss of another loved individual, what you're reporting still comes under 5. You're reporting a state of dysfunction in the organism, because that's exactly what depression will do. That's exactly what an acute syndrome of loss can do to you. You may be apparently physically healthy, and yet you're not, because you have engaged a variety of molecular mechanisms and of neural mechanisms that are bringing down the homeostasis of the organism and are, in fact, compromising the future of that living tissue, the future of that living organism. And that, once again, is expressed as pain. So if people ask you, well, is the pain of loss different from the pain of a wound produced by a knife? The answer is not really. The mechanisms are still the same. The deep mechanisms, the mechanisms that are immediate, of course, are not the same. But in the end, what pain is telling you is about dysfunction in a living organism, and is telling you, watch out, if you continue this way, it's not going to end up well. So that's basically the same mechanism. So what next? I'm going to skip telling you in detail about emotions. I'm sure you know quite a lot about that. But I want to tell you a little bit about the neural basis of emotions, and tell you that the command units for the execution of action programs that constitute emotions are located in specific subcortical brain regions. And the reason why I want to emphasize this is that, again, these regions are also very much related either to the production of pleasure or the production of pain. So I've outlined a few there: the periaqueductal gray, the amygdala nuclei, the nucleus accumbens, and the ventral pallidum, and the hypothalamus, which for a variety of reasons runs our endocrine system and works together with those other structures. And first thing to say is that they are subcortical. So people spend quite a lot of time paying attention in terms of the human mind, paying attention to the cerebral cortex, as if the cerebral cortex were the be-all and end-all of our mental life. And that's simply not the case. It's obvious that a lot of what is most complex about a human mind requires the cerebral cortex, but it is not true that the cerebral cortex alone could ever produce the kinds of minds, the kinds of operations that we can produce individually. And we can, as human beings, we can have great, great complexity. And it's also true that for affect, for processes that have to do with emotions or feelings or drives, the truth is actually the reverse, is that it is the subcortical units that are most important to produce those behaviors, those phenomena, and the cortex ends up being the last resort where some of the things are represented. So, for example, in relation to human feelings, the insular cortex is very important, and I'll show you some images of the structure